Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You are listening to episode number 108. I'm Victoria Gallagher, Law of Attraction hypnotist and number one best-selling author of Practical Law of Attraction: Align Yourself with the Manifesting Conditions and Successfully Attract Your Desires. I'm also the founder of HipTalk.com and HypnoCloud apps, which gives you access to over 500 hypnosis recordings right in the palm of your hand. So be sure to download my app from the app stores today. And I am here with my co-host, comedy hypnotist, Jim Kellner. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Hello, Victoria. Hello, everyone. I am doing fantabulous. Thank you so much.
Yes, I am too. And I just happened to, when I was saying our intro here, I just happened to see you take a little drink out of your
Oh, yes.
coffee mug. What does that say? It says, "Damn, I'm pretty. Damnim'pretty.com." So
Hmm.
tell us, like, just briefly, like, you know, just for our listeners or our viewers, because they might have actually seen that and been like, what is this damn I'm pretty? Mine just says personal. Mine says personal growth club.
Oh, lame.
I need to get
Boring.
something. I need to get something like a little bit more cool with pizzazz. Yeah.
You at least need an exclamation point on the end or something. I don't know. Uh,
Hmm.
well,
Personal
so
growth is cool. How about that?
yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're slaying it now.
Nerding it up here. Nerding it up.
Nerd. Hey, the world needs nerds too, Victoria.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
can't
Well,
all
I'm a
be cool.
grown up nerd from,
Yeah.
So
I'll
yes.
tell you, so I get it, and it's got to be funny for and I actually say this all the time too. If you watch, if you watch some of my videos or you see a show, I'll say, "Damn, I'm pretty" all the time, and you may be thinking, "Why is this middle-aged, bald, chubby guy saying 'damn, I'm pretty' all the time?" Um, well, because it's funny. But I'll tell you,
That's
actually,
it.
Victoria, it has a when I was doing stand-up comedy and I weighed almost 300 pounds, somehow it just came out. I said it one night and it got a bunch of laughs and I kept saying it. But the weird thing is too, is it worked as an affirmation. And I started
Mm.
noticing after a while, I was like, wow, it's kind of fun when I say that. And so I started saying it more and more. And I started saying it in the mirror, like, damn, I'm pretty. And I'll tell you what, I actually started feeling pretty handsome. And I've had a lot of clients. I've had even people on social media tell me, wow, I actually tried that and it works. Because, one of the things we know about affirmations is that if there's emotion involved, it makes them stronger, more powerful. And of course, saying, damn, I'm funny is funny.
Right,
I mean,
right.
damn, I'm pretty is
Absolutely.
funny. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that, I mean, that is such a testament to the power of affirmations and making those affirmations. I mean, you've got the affirmation right there on your mug, and so people will be able to. I know you have a store that you're kind of working out a new vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so keep that in the back of your mind, because I think that's a wonderful way, you know I mean, I'm going to come up with a phrase, and if anybody out there has any ideas for my phrase, please, drop us a line, drop me a line. But I love your phrase. I think that's great.
Thank you. Hey,
Everyone needs their own phrase.
how about damn, I'm manifesting?
Damn, I'm manifesting. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Well, today we are talking about manifesting as usual.
Of course. What a
But we're
surprise.
talking about it from, like, there's been a lot of bad news. There's
Mm.
been a lot of bad news that we keep, it's like when one thing seems like it's getting wrapped up, now we're dealing with another thing. And we just get inundated with this. But, this isn't just recently. We always deal with bad news. I mean, there's always, we have negative people around us, negative things happen. If you read the news, you're always going to be getting a fresh batch bad news. So how do we keep manifesting? How do we keep our vibration high even when we're dealing with all this bad news?
Yeah,
That's the topic
and
for today.
it's interesting you say it because it's things we're going through right now, they're nothing new. There's always war, there's always sickness, there's always, I had a friend whose cat of 18 years passed away recently,
Oh,
and just
oh,
talking to her this morning, and just going through really, really a tough year, she said. And yeah, I mean, and she's actually a pretty high vibe person. Usually she's a healer in the healing space, but how do you bounce back from all that garbage and still be able to, manifest the good stuff, hopefully.
absolutely. It's interesting. You said, 18 years. My cat Isabella died about, I guess it was about 7, 8 years ago, at 21. I mean, I was
Wow.
28 years old when I got this cat, and she
Wow.
basically lived almost, I mean, like I had this cat like more than half my life ultimately.
Yeah.
And, so it's just really, really, yeah, that was literally one of the toughest times in my entire life. It really was. So
I,
I
I
totally, I
yeah,
totally, my heart goes out to her.
it's rough, and I mean, boy, pets they really become part of the family.
They do. They
It's
do. I
tough.
just had one walk in here, my little velvet. And you know what?
Oh,
Honestly, if it wasn't for her passing on, I mean, people pass away, pets pass away, people come and go. We have to realize that, nothing, I think that's one of the key things to keep in mind here is that, we expect everything to stay exactly the same. We expect, we just have this sort of like unconscious expectation that, our pets and our kids are going to last forever. Our relationships are going to last forever. Where
right.
our youthful bodies are going to last forever. That, everything's going to last forever. But if we didn't experience any kind of evolution or change, and everything just stayed the same, I mean, we wouldn't have a chance to have all of the wonderful things that do ultimately come into our lives. And so we have to just kind of just allow for the fact that everything comes into our life and it passes away, and it comes into our life and it passes away. And we have to allow ourselves just to kind of be in that flow of abundance, of that flow of not just abundance, but just the flow of appreciating what we have here in the present moment.
I'm reminded, I just pulled this coin out of my pocket. Are you familiar with Memento Mori?
Ooh, I am not. That kind of looks like a bagua, like in feng shui, because it
Oh,
has
yeah,
the 8 sides.
right. I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, this is for anyone watching. So this comes from Stoic philosophy. People like Marcus Aurelius, Zeno, and the idea here is by carrying this coin on the front of it, there's a skull.
Mm,
That's literally, it's a skull. But what it's reminding you of is that it's supposed to be a daily reminder when you take this coin in your hand that life is transitory and you need to make the most out of what's going on right now. Um, so I think it's such a good reminder. And then on the back of this particular one, it says, remember, you have to live as well. So you're going to die, but you got to live. So
it's
there's going to be bad
balance.
stuff going on around us. People are going to come and go, like you said, but we got to keep going.
We do. We absolutely
But
do.
how do we?
And I really appreciate what you said too, that it's nothing new. The bad news is nothing new. We experience bad news all the time. I mean, people get sick and die every single day. There's wars going on every single day. People are, getting married, getting divorced every single day. And and it's really about our interpretation and how much focus we're choosing to give to those things, and so that's really what I really felt it was important to address this today.
Good. I mean, it really, and it's, it's interesting too. We talk about this is always going on. I always see people posting things on social media and stuff that, things are worse than they've ever been. And I mean, really, this is nothing new. This has been going on since as long as humans have been recording history. There's been wars and famine and, pestilence and all these things. So it's probably going to
Absolutely.
be with us for quite a lot longer. So what we really need to do is just learn how to deal with it, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, we have to realize and we have to just appreciate that like life is full of ups and downs. And I was listening to this recording the other day. I wish I could give the person credit, but I can't quite recall who it was that I heard this from. But I loved what she said. And she said that essentially, we're always praying. Ultimately, we are always praying. And so when we are worrying, whatever we're worrying about, we are praying for more of the same.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. That's really eye-opening.
It's
Wow.
a
That's
it's a prayer to have more
right.
of the same. We're praying, please bring more of this into my conscious reality. And on a whole other level, if we really think about it, like we are bringing things into our conscious awareness by putting our focus on it, because like every situation, every circumstance, everything, every possibility is really existing right now. Like
Mhm.
every possible thing that you could possibly imagine is happening right now. The good, the bad, and the neutral, the in between. Although I don't know if there's really a neutral. I think it really just depends on your perception of it, because no two people will look at a situation in the exact same way. Where somebody's winning, um, in the stock market, there's an equal opposite
Right.
side of
Exactly, right.
of that. So we
So if you're
have
winning,
to,
just remember somebody else is losing. So
but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily mean in order, when you're winning, it doesn't necessarily mean somebody has to lose.
Mhm.
But there's always a different perception. There's like a different side of the coin, if you will. And so, if we want to continue manifesting the good stuff, then we have to work around um, really it's just a matter of shifting our focus. We can put all of our attention on all the bad stuff, but what we have to do, I believe, if we want to continue to manifest, we've got to become stronger. We've got to work on ourselves. We've got to boost our
Mm,
confidence. We've got to learn how to, I think it really kind of comes down to disciplining our
mhm,
thoughts. Whenever we
mhm.
get thrown off track and we get sucked in, it's so easy sometimes to just get sucked in. I mean, you can get sucked into, like you were talking about, all the people, what they're talking about on Facebook. I saw somebody the other day saying, I'm closing my Facebook account because I'm just tired of everybody arguing with me all of the time. Like, really? Okay. And I get it that, maybe you can't sometimes, people, are feeling like they can't be themselves. They can't post authentically because, there's always somebody that's going to look at what you're saying a little bit differently, or give you a hard time about it. But, I think we talked about this the other day. I mean, like social media is a perfect example that it's really like a blank slate. I mean, you're adding all the content.
Right.
All the people are there, but you're gathering them. All
Yeah.
the pages, all the groups,
Yeah.
everything that you joined, it's all yours. So if people are arguing with you, you're seeing the negativity, you're seeing the negative posts. Well, guess what? You can choose either to, unfriend or block those people, and you can choose to put whatever content you want to have on your page. I mean, like when I look at your Facebook profile, this is like, in a way, I look at this like stepping inside your mind. Like, what are you focused on? What are you choosing to
Yeah.
focus on? And so
Absolutely.
looking at, if I were to look at your news feed, it's going to look entirely different from my news feed, because my news feed, I'll tell you, I mean, it's all about kitty cats and
Bravo, bravo. Good, good. Yes.
things that make me feel good.
Mhm.
If I want to tune in and see what's going on in the news, I can like deliberately take an intentional action toward that. But I'm not going to just have my news feed be inundated with things that are going to bring me down or make me feel bad. So I think it's about a discipline. I really, really believe, like I remember, back at the beginning of 2020 when a lot of people were focused on, the virus, and I just kind of, at that point, I really, yeah, I was scared. When it first,
Mhm.
everybody was scared. This is like something new. Like no one in our generation has ever experienced anything like this. And I kind of felt myself going down this like path of like really feeling anxious, really feeling depressed, really
Mm.
feeling like, oh God, is the world coming to an end? It felt so
Right.
apocalyptic at that moment,
Mhm.
and then I just thought,
Yeah.
well, gosh, you know, uh, am I gonna, am I gonna feel like this, or how am I gonna spend the rest of the rest of our days? As long as this is going on, how do I want to choose to feel? How do I want to choose to feel? And so there, I just kind of got to a point where I said, you know what, I just gotta turn away from the outer world and create the world that I want to live in inside of me and spend time inside my own internal world, because usually whatever that thing is that you're upset about or that's making you afraid or giving you anxiety or stress, it's not anything you can control. It's not anything you can even do anything about. And so, but you can control how you spend your time, and you can control what you choose to focus on. And there's always something good to focus on.
You said a couple of interesting things there. The person that was complaining about the arguing, arguing is not a not a one-sided thing. Nobody can argue with themselves. So if people are arguing on your page, you're engaging in that arguing. So I mean, it seems like a simple solution is just stop arguing with people. Just, you know. Um, and I'll tell you, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
And one of my favorite things that I learned from reading Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and you'll sometimes see me reply this to people, is you could be right. And that you will usually diffuse the situation immediately because they think you just said that they're right, but really you're thinking you're full of crap, but I don't want to argue about it.
I like that. You could be right. You could be right. I
And I,
reply, and I don't know, I will reply if I just totally disagree with somebody, and I just don't want to take it any further. I will just say that's an interesting perspective.
you could be right.
Yes,
So,
exactly. That's
yeah,
an
exactly.
interesting
Interesting.
perspective. And, they might, they might choose to say, well, no, it's just the correct perspective. Well, no one
Right.
has the correct perspective. No one has
Right.
it. No one has it
Yeah.
right. I think it's like, um, when you're arguing with somebody, you have to really just figure out that, um, there's more than one side to every story, and we're all seeing life through our own filters, and it is what we make of it.
And your own algorithm,
And
really.
our own algorithm, yes. I love it. I mean, because, if you choose to focus on all the negativity, all the bad stuff that is going on, and then you validate and you acknowledge and you say out loud, "Oh my God, the world is a horrible place. There's just nothing but horrible people in this world. People are just, everybody's lost their mind, and everyone's on drugs, everyone's doing this, everyone's mean, or whatever it is, you you phrase things back to yourself that basically are telling the universe, oh, this is what you want to focus on. This is what you want to see. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
go
Show
ahead
you more.
and show you even more. And you
Right.
get really zoned in on seeing more and more and more of whatever it is that you're complaining about.
Exactly. And you also said something earlier that's important. And I want to just point it out is that you said something about choose the way you feel. And I think for some people out there, they may not understand that that's possible. Um, could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Because yeah, so many people, and I've fallen into this too. I think when I get lazy on the whole notion of responsibility and response, it kind of comes back to responsibility, meaning that we all are equipped with this ability to respond however we choose. And so your feelings are yours because your feelings come from how you choose to think about it. So you can choose to think that, oh, this is the worst thing ever, this is a bad thing, this person's wrong, this person's out to get me. You can choose to think that, or you can decide how you want to see that. Is you can decide to look away, you can decide that the world is actually a great place, but this is just one small thing that is upsetting in a world of all these amazing other things that are going on. um you kind of like getting back to like the reviews we were talking about.
Right.
I get you get 100 great reviews, but the only one you want to look at is the one bad one.
Right. You're choosing to feel bad because you're looking at the bad one instead of focusing on all
Exactly.
those hundreds of,
Exactly.
praise,
And I think
praiseworthy.
one thing that you can always do to help yourself to feel better in any moment. And that was one of the things that, like, back then when I was kind of, getting a little caught up in all of that myself, was I said, okay, well, I know that gratitude works, so I'm going to come up with, literally for myself, because I'm always like really trying to challenge myself and push it to the next level. People talk
Mhm.
about, oh, just list 5 things that you're grateful for, and and come up with a fresh set of gratitudes every day. Well, I said, I'm going to make a list of 100 things right now that
Whoa.
I'm grateful
Wow.
for. 100 things, and that's really a little bit more of a challenge because
Mhm.
if you're trying to come up with brand new, fresh ideas, it takes a little work. But what it does is it completely alters your focus, because in order to come up with what you're grateful for, you have to shift your mindset. You have to shift what you are focused on. You have to look at what is good in this situation. And even if it comes down to just the most basic things, I don't know why my nose is just like itching like crazy right now.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody's thinking about me. Is that one of those like superstitious things? Like
Sounds
either
familiar.
either I'm going to
Yeah.
come into a lot of money or somebody's thinking about me. But it's really a matter of like looking at the bright side of everything. And there is a bright side to everything. Even when my cat died, that was like probably one of the worst days of my life. But like I told you, it's like there in how can you say like you love this cat even more? But I mean, the your capacity to love grows and increases. So if you loved something at one point and then that love was taken away from you, guess what? You cannot shrink back to the old level of love that you were able to give. So in your next experience with your next animal, your next pet, you're gonna like you're gonna start from where you last left off, and you're going to be able to grow and love even more. And so,
Mm.
of course, I've got these three amazing cats now that I love more than I thought that I would ever love any cat. And I would not have that experience if I didn't have the experience of having to let go of another cat that I loved. So, it's just kind of twisting your mind around and to be able um, to look at something in a whole new way, and just to feel grateful for all of the experiences that we do have.
And it's so true. So I try to remember that I probably don't have much control over that first emotion that I have.
Hmm.
That's like just a knee jerk response. But right, anything I feel after that is kind of up to me because I can continue to wallow in it, or like you say, I can do something that's going to help me to break free of it, like doing gratitude or singing or something like that. Um, and I think too, there's always something we can be grateful for. I mean, especially if you're able to watch or listen to this podcast right now, things are going pretty damn good for you, comparatively speaking, to most of the other people in the world, really. So, I
Hmm.
mean, and it's not to diminish anyone's pain that they might be going through, but it's just saying, you do have a lot to be grateful for anyway. And when you focus on that, whether you believe it or not, when you focus on it, things will actually start to feel better.
It really does. It really does. Another point that I wanted to make also, besides, the whole gratitude thing, because I mean, I think gratitude, it's such a it's such a fix all, I think, for everything. It really is. I mean, like, you cannot feel angry and frustrated and disappointed and grateful at the same time. It's just not even
Mm,
possible. You can't
yeah,
be
true.
in two different vibrations. You're either going to be in a positive vibration or in a negative vibration. Now, sometimes it may seem like you are feeling both of those, but really you're just flipping back and forth. So it's about shifting your thoughts back and forth. And so, one of the things too, I think, why people get angry and sad and frustrated and disappointed in the first place is because any of those sad or bad feelings is all a derivative of fear. Fear is the basis for all negative emotions.
Mm,
If we really think about it, we get angry about something because, like, we're afraid we're not going to be able to have whatever it is that, we're not going to be able to get our way. It's not going to turn out the way that we wanted, or it's there's just something, I believe, at the core that we are afraid of. And here's the thing, when it comes to fear, is that most of the things we're afraid of are not even happening. They're not even happening to you. They're not even going to happen to you. We put a lot of we just put a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety on things that are not even happening to you. And so, the way, again, out of that fear and that anger and that frustration, or any of those derivatives of that emotion, fear, is really about getting present to what is actually happening in your immediate environment. Like, is anything going wrong now? Like, maybe it was going wrong 5 minutes ago. Maybe it
yeah.
was going wrong a minute ago, maybe 30 seconds ago. But as soon as you decide, I'm going to shift and I'm going to focus on my breathing, I'm going to focus on my body, I'm going to focus on what's going on really right now. And really, right now, everything is okay.
Yeah, totally, completely get that. Absolutely. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like when it's like that, but people have to remember that it's so easy to go down that road. Just like when you're thinking about that chocolate cake and you just keep doing it. It takes a little discipline at first. You got to get back to working on manifesting what you want instead of manifesting what you don't want.
You really do. You really do. Just one other little thing to illustrate like how everything's okay. It was like, this is how you get present. Because years ago, I was in the hospital with a lung collapse, and I had to go and have
Wow.
surgery. And all that doctor stuff, needles, doctors, surgery, going under is about the most stressful thing or the thing I'm scared to death of. I mean, I literally avoid all that. I used to avoid all that stuff at all costs. And there was just something that shifted for me when I had to have this surgery. And I finally just came to terms with the fact that, like, okay, here I am. I'm going through this negative, bad thing, the worst possible thing. But I just accepted it in that moment. And like, I just walked myself through being very present in that moment. Like, what is actually happening right now? Well, right now, all I'm doing is I'm signing a document, even though the document said, like, if I die, it's not their fault and I'm giving my life away and all that. But I'm just, I really just dialed it into like, all that's happening right now is I am taking pen and putting ink on a paper, and it's my signature. And, I have no choice. I've got to do this. Right. And I've just had to accept it. The next thing you know, like they're putting a needle in my arm, to put me to sleep. It's like all that's happening. I just like kind of watched it and I kind of just observed and I just kind of just was present with it. And like, nothing's really happening right now. They're putting a needle in my arm. Like, it doesn't, and like literally, like the more you can just bring it down to the most minute moment, like moment by moment, I was just present with it. Okay, I'm just on a gurney. I'm just going through these doors here. And before you knew it, I was out, and then I was waking up,
Mhm.
and all of that. And I just continued to practice that, through the pain and through all of that. Because have you ever noticed that, like, if you really, really look at something, if you really, really allow yourself to just be here and experience whatever it is, I mean, it's really the resistance that creates the pain. But if you just allow yourself to be okay with whatever it is that's bad, that's negative, and you take the meaning out of it and what everything that we've made it mean, then it's almost like that pain just kind of disappears.
I'm reminded one time I went vegetarian for 2 months. I was hungry every single minute, but I got to a point where, and I was eating the beans and all that stuff, but I got to a point where I was hungry, but I was just accepting it. I was just like, I'm hungry, and that's just an emotion. Because, and we have a kind of a common saying in our work that says, that which I resist persists. So true.
It really is. What you resist persists. So, the main takeaway from today is really, there's always going to be trauma, bad stuff, pain, negativity, things that you're worried about, things that you're afraid of, things that you're mad about, all of that. And that's just kind of part of human nature. It's part of life. It's part of, what you're here to experience as a human being. But it isn't something that needs to ever get in the way or stop you from manifesting. We're always manifesting, first of all, and we can work on manifesting the state that we need to be in to manifest the positive things that we desire to call in. And that's what it really, really boils down to, because, it's about our state of mind, our state of our being, our vibration, and the actions that we're taking. And we can, if we just accept that we're going through something that maybe we don't really want to be going through, and we just come to a place of acceptance, and then we just allow ourselves to say, hey, I at least want to manifest. You may not even necessarily be able to say, I want to manifest happiness, but manifest just being neutral, allowing yourself just to manifest being neutral. And then if you can manifest that, then you can manifest something above that, some sort of a happiness state. But it doesn't make sense to try to manifest anything outside of yourself if you're not able to at least manifest your own internal environment. That
Mm.
is the main thing
Oof.
that we should all be working on manifesting is our own internal environment.
What a great place to leave it on. Self-mastery, right? Wow.
It is. Manifesting is self mastery. And so I just want to thank you for tuning in today for the Power of Mind podcast. Please leave us a comment or review, reach out to us, let us know what you'd like to learn about. And thank you, Jim, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
And happy manifesting.
Cheers.